If we take a close look at the Star Wars franchise, ever since Disney took over Lucasfilm back in 2012, it's pretty much apparent that a lot of Star Wars fans around the world have had a lot of issues with not just the sequel trilogy, but exactly how Lucasfilm approached the Star Wars brand. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie was the culmination of the Skywalker saga, at least to a certain extent, right? We do know that J.J. Abrams had big plans for this movie, many of which were cancelled or deleted because of Kathleen Kennedy, which is very unfortunate, the fact that we had so many different scenes that were going to become a part of Episode 9 that were cancelled or deleted because of Kathleen Kennedy wanting to change the overall tone of Episode 9 back in mid-2019. Now, when we look at what Disney is trying to do currently, they are trying to come up with a strategy to reunite the Star Wars fan base, and of course, gaining back the lost fans from The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. There's no denying that Solo: A Star Wars Story's box office results were directly impacted from The Last Jedi's backlash from the fans, and obviously, Kathleen Kennedy would always deny that. But when we look at Kennedy, right, a lot of fans have been very curious about her place in Star Wars as of right now. Now, we do know that her creative control is taken away. She can no longer have the power to really tap into the creative aspects of these projects. However, what's really intriguing is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the Skywalker saga, they are currently focused on the new Star Wars universe as well as their new Star Wars trilogy of films, where it's explained that currently Disney is cleaning house over at Lucasfilm, such as bringing in new creatives over at Lucasfilm and making big changes to the Star Wars brand. Now, it's noted that one of the major changes has to do with Disney taking Kathleen Kennedy's power away to have control over creative decisions for new Star Wars projects. It's noted that Disney was actually very sorry for hiring Kathleen Kennedy after George Lucas proposed that she would actually become the head of Lucasfilm. Though at first it was George's idea to bring in Kathleen Kennedy, the decision ultimately was decided by the Disney CEO at the time. It's explained that since the release of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, Bob Iger has had many regrets for Kathleen Kennedy having creative control over many of these Star Wars movies, and that now that Bob Chapek is actually taking over as head of Disney, major changes are coming into play for Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy is said to be getting a replacement sometime in 2021, and that Disney is looking for a proper individual to taking over the Star Wars brand. It's noted that currently Disney and Lucasfilm are also developing a brand new strategy to reunite the fans and to make it up to the lost fans over Kathleen Kennedy and how she led the Star Wars brand. Kathleen Kennedy is said to have no control over the new Star Wars movies, TV shows, or other projects, however only on the business end of things and developing the roadmap of Star Wars films and TV shows so far. Fans are becoming more hopeful about the future because of all of this, and Disney regrets the final decision of bringing on Kathleen Kennedy for Star Wars many years ago. So, the thing about Star Wars is that we do know that this movie in particular, of course, Episode 9 was a big thing, right? This was going to be a historical film, and it ended up being kind of, an on and off movie for a lot of fans out there. Basically, this movie did not make as much as it should have. It only just crossed $1 billion at the box office worldwide speaking some weeks ago, and now it's coming onto Blu-ray, I believe in mid-March. I know it's coming on digital, if I'm not mistaken, on March 13th. So, those of you who actually want to watch the movie at home, you can do that in mid-March. Now, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, like I say, that's the one major mistake by Disney is, of course, letting Kathleen Kennedy have creative control over all of those Star Wars projects. Everything like Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. We were supposed to have more Darth Vader scenes. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Rogue One, we were supposed to have far more Darth Vader sequences than what we got. In fact, one of which was going to be Darth Vader slaughtering rebels on a beach. All these ideas put to the wayside because of Kathleen Kennedy. Not just that, but it was also Kathleen Kennedy who wanted Luke Skywalker to be used the way he was in The Last Jedi, and of course using less Luke, Anakin, and more in The Rise of Skywalker. So you can see that Kathleen Kennedy does not fully understand Star Wars. It's either that or she fully knows exactly what the fans want for Star Wars. She just doesn't want to give it to the fans and wants to focus on her own agenda. Now, thankfully, that's all done and over with. That's actually a thing in the past. She can no longer tap into the creative aspects of these Star Wars movies and TV shows. So, when you think about it like this, Kathleen Kennedy, I think it really is a great decision by Disney. The fact that they are currently looking for a replacement for Kathleen Kennedy sometime in 2021. And the fact that Disney CEO Bob Iger had great regrets of, coming to the final decision of bringing Kathleen Kennedy on board and having her, really have a lot of control over the creative aspects, right? And how that kind of really messed with his own legacy as well. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.